The country, Turkey, 1930. A country plagued by poverty and oppression and torn by war. Families held together by tradition, heritage, and Islam law did whatever they had to do to survive. Martial law ruled and required an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and there was no mercy for the offender. If a thief stole, his hand would be cut off as the law demanded, even if it was because of hunger, even if it was a little girl.
My mother and I was very close, and we lost our home. Depression was 1930. When I was 8 years old when we lost everything. We had to move in a big city, me and my family and all. My mother, my daddy, he had a problem with alcohol. He couldn't sleep unless he drank. And my mama was always struggling, love her children, you know, and I was her walking stick, always. Everybody left except me. And she always raised her hand thanking God for me because I was her walking, helping her walk and all that. And then we got so poor, we didn't have nothing to eat home 3 days, not even a loaf of bread. And like I said, my brother, he's younger, 1 year younger than me, he's very slow, I'm fast. So they got a big bread on the street. They selling big, good old French breads, you know. They selling it, and I just grabbed one and run. They couldn't catch me. I had to bring my mama. She was hungry and everything. And there, they cut your hand off, you know, when you steal. But God protected me there, praise the Lord.
Mother had a special place in her heart for little Tina. Tina was the child who was not supposed to be alive. Because of the number of children already in the family and their life of poverty early in her pregnancy, her mother was compelled to terminate the pregnancy. In Turkish culture, the eldest child is considered head of the household if the parents are deceased. In her family, the eldest sister was the designated matriarch of the family, and her sister did not want any more mouths to feed.
When I was a child, me and my mother was very, very, very close. We loved each other so much. And my mother never did tell me. My sister said, before you was born, her big sister, their boss, all the older people, their boss in a Muslim way, and said they took you to abortion, you know, because mother was a little crippled and she was very poor. She couldn't take care of third child. I was number 3. And so they went, I don't know what they done something, and she said, you're okay now, go home. About 3 months later, my mother felt a kick in her stomach. Oh, she said, I'm so happy. My baby's still in me. She's not gone, you know. And bless her heart. And there I was born. And
as a little girl, Tina saw the world around her in all its beauty and asked God a simple question.
I was about 5 years old. My mother she was connected with God. She knew great big God upstairs in heaven. And she always talked to him. And when I was about 6 years old, and I see my mother always praying God, she's always telling great big God upstairs in heaven, you know, and she didn't go to Muslim church and all that. She was just connected with a great big God, you know, upstairs. And so I was walking, we had a beautiful home by the ocean and beautiful fruit trees and mountains, everything in the back. I was walking, picking the daisy flower, they grow up real wild. And I said, dear God, I said, I don't want to die. It's so beautiful world we live in. Look at all the flowers and mountains and ocean. And I said, why do we have to die? He never did say nothing to me, you know. When I got saved, then I knew we were going to live forever and ever through Jesus Christ.
In the 1940s, the American troops were stationed in the area, and one young, handsome American soldier caught her eye and captured her heart. Tina and Harry were married soon afterward and settled down to live in the southern U.S.
God sent me a very, very good man from Hope, Arkansas, and he married me, brought me to America, thank God. And I love America. I thank God for America. There's no country like America.
As time went on, Tina, although now a wife and mother with 3 children, became deeply ensnared in a life of sin and crime.
And then I came to the end of my rope, and I met these 2 guys, very, very powerful guys. And they took me away from my house. I couldn't come to my home for 3 weeks. I was on the road running for my life, you know. And it was very powerful people I fall in the hands of, and I knew what was happening to me. And I said, they're going to kill me, and they're going to use me first, then kill me. And I was out of town, about 200 miles away. My baby boy is 13 years old. And I looked up, they were driving my car, 2 brothers, both of them. Very, very mean man. And so I knew what was going to happen to me. I wasn't going to get to see my family no more. I just knew they were going to get me. And I looked up and cried to God. I said, God, I said, my mom always talked to God, and I talked to him. I was really crying, depths of my heart, tears in my eyes. I said, if you deliver me out of this people's hand, they're going to get me, and I'm going to die. And I said, I promise I'll serve you the rest of my life, go to church and live for you. That's why I love to go to church now, because I made a big promise to God. And sure enough, God came so beautiful way already in my heart. I wasn't scared no more. He asked me, why did I cry? I said, I didn't tell him that was the private, just me and the Lord. And I said, but I tell you what, I said, I'm not scared of you no more. I said, you can just, if you want to kill me, drop my body right that river right here. I said, just throw me in there if you want to. I was ready to go. I thought, well, I cried to God, I'd repented, you know. I was ready to go to heaven, you know. And the guy brought me back to Crestview. That was from God. He protected me there again. I didn't die.
Tina came to know the love and forgiveness of God the Father and His Son, Jesus Christ. Life was starting to go well for her and Harry. God had blessed them with 3 beautiful children, and now they were grandparents as well.
Anyway, my son, he got saved, beautiful way, an altar. He cried out to God for about 30 or 40 minutes. He was on drugs and everything. He got delivered, alcohol, drugs and everything. And so he was 42 years old. We're having a good time, living a Christian life, go to church all the time, me and my son. And he was going to the doctor, driving my brand new car. He had an appointment with the doctor. When he was coming home, he turned over, car turned over 2 or 3 times. He wasn't wearing his seatbelt. Anyway, they put him in, what do you call that, life support machine? Mm-hmm. They put him in there, and my neighbor rushed me to the hospital, and I'm on the side praying for him. And my pastor, everybody came, prayed for me. They say, all things happen good to them love God. I take that word, beautiful, beautiful word from there. He was there 9 days, and I was right there besides 24 hours with him praying. And it was time to turn the machine off. He said, your son is brain dead. And so my pastor, everybody came, and that was very, very hard for me to watch my son die. That's my first one died. But I thank God that God saved him. You know what else happened? I was getting ready to go to church one Sunday, 6 months later, and telephone rang. He said, something happened to your grandson. He's only 22. And Jamie, I raised him. He's like my son too. And something happened, and he got killed instantly in the car.
One day, after losing her eldest son and her grandson in separate accidents, Tina was at her darkest place. How could God do such a thing? Why did they have to go through this? Was this punishment for her past actions? Hadn't God forgiven her? It was at this point in her life that a friend took her to hear Steve Hill at Brownsville Church in Pensacola, Florida.
So I went another tragedy. And I cried to God. I cried to Him. I cried to Him. He comforted me. He gave me a lot of words out of the Bible, speak to me. And, really thank God for Pastor Steve Hill bringing that revival. And not only me needed it real bad, lots of people needed it. They were there all crying to God, all over the world. They were coming from everywhere, China. I never seen nothing like it.
It has been many years since Tina was that little girl. God has brought her many miles, both physically and spiritually. Now she is no longer a thief, but a servant of God and the people around her. Tina will never forget her past, but it no longer has power over her. Although she is getting frail with age, Tina shows the love of God in simple acts of kindness and love to those around her. And they, in turn, love her back.